I'm here by the outlet. My phone is. I just got a smartphone the first day of the summer. But you still have so I knew this was here because I came here.
Sweet. Is it going to record our voices then too? Do we got to change something when we start talking?
Yep.
I think it will.
I was in here earlier for the last session. It was so nice. It's actually. You're not getting it.
Yeah, I think I can hear my voice.
It was so fun. Okay. I'm like, no, it's supposed to be. And
So right now, it's doing the screen mirroring.
Yeah. Just
Okay. It's just,
I suppose.
Dandy Warhol's there, 893 Chronics Road, Campus. 13 Tales from Urban Bohemia, some 15 years ago. There's Disclosure, song featuring Fuller. All the vocal there, Caracol album, and Sound Color Sounds. That's Alabama Shakes, which is titled tune.
see, I think when you clicked on it, it said 160 minutes. That was like all of our fair things. And then when you click on like the managed part, then it said like 35.
Oh,
Yeah.
Put in what you get to
Saturday show. Vampires goes up. And the 5 o'clock hour.
So there was open night.
Show.
It was so much work. This one. This was like a 2-minute.
We're first time in a lot of years. Saint Germain. Track first album. That Dandy Warhol song. Saint Germain.
Here she is. Speak of this, Chris.
But you got somebody want?
Good.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. No, you should have. It didn't say that. You should have. It didn't say that. So I checked out. So
Did you want to use a mic or not? I mean,
well, I had that one checked first. I bought it. I read about this.
it won't. The Google Hangout won't pick up that voice.
No, it'll pick it up.
Did you?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
it-
My-
I
it'll
think-
be okay.
Did
You try that.
Oh, yeah, I got mine.
I don't know, the room is big.
I think it'll be fine.
Did you? Oh, that's good. I have to get in here now. So, I wonder if is there like a limited number of these Google?
Your short links?
Yeah. Like I've taken probably 20 of them already. I'm just fascinated.
Yeah, I don't know. If you sign in on goo.gl, it'll save them for you and then give you analytics too. So you just have to go to goo.gl, click your sign in, and then you copy paste in whatever your link is, and then it'll give you the short links. It'll give you a QR code, and then it'll give you analytics as well, with like number of clicks and like a graph about when the clicks were, so you can try to figure out like why people were clicking on your thing. And it's like if every single student says, "Of course I looked at your presentation," and I'd be like, "No, you didn't, because
I would believe that.
I looked."
Is that what you wanted to work on your own?
Yeah, you can go to the group. It's also on the Sketch. If you go to us on Sketch.
That's what I had to do for the last one. I had to get
Yeah, if you go to Sketch, it's linked in our doc. And I put a PDF of this on there, but yeah, you go to sketch.org and then click on resources.
Oh, yeah.
Look at my
This
schedule.
one didn't work.
I've signed up for it.
So I'll go to my
Just get my email and click on that.
Yeah, I learned those resource pages for everything. Has literally everything in it.
Yeah, and then
I
I
did
saved them all.
Yeah, me too. I gotta bookmark this.
So if you're interested, you can get to the presentation a couple different ways. You can go, onto the sketch.org, and then we have all this on the resources tab if you click on that resources button. Otherwise, you can get to the presentation with the link right there. Make sure you're careful though typing it in. They're always case sensitive. We're also doing a Google Hangout on air right now. Don't worry, we're not recording you. We're just recording the computer screen and our voices. So we already have a couple people watching. We saw Google Magic. We can see that there's people watching already. So this will be archived too, just on our, we'll archive it. I'll throw it into here, the link, and then we'll put it on our YouTube channel too. So if you ever want to get back and look at it again, you're more than welcome. So, well, I guess before I get into my second slide, Matt and I can just introduce ourselves. Welcome, come in, hi. So my name's Karen Hogan. I'm a middle school language arts teacher in White Bear Lake. So for those of you that aren't from here, that's a suburb, like a northeast suburb of the Twin Cities. I've taught in a lot of different settings before, all the way from post-secondary to high school, and now I do middle school. So that's me, and my co-presenter back there's Matt. So do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everybody, I'm Matt. So I'm a high school science teacher. I teach at an alternative learning center in White Bear Lake, and
Yeah.
I did a session earlier today about blending or STEM in the blended classroom.
Yeah. So anyway, you could look Matt's name up in the schedule too if you're a science teacher and find some resources there as well. So if you didn't know it or not, the reason there is a little person's head next to the symbol for this session, it's like I don't remember what it was technically called, like an Explorer session. So hopefully by the end of this, you will walk out of here with 4 lessons ready to go, hopefully. So that's the idea. I haven't ever done a session like this where we want to get that much done. So we'll see how it works. But that's the idea at least. And if you don't get all that done, like I said, all of our stuff will be available for you to access later. So we're going to go over several different types of lessons today with Google Docs and Docent EDU here. So we're going to go over, I'm not going to read my bullet points because, teachers shouldn't do that. So anyway, we have a lot of different things that we're going to go over today. Hopefully, you will be able to make this relevant to you on such short notice. I know it's kind of hard to just say, like, make a lesson right now, but hopefully Matt and I will be able to walk you through that and give you enough time in this session that you're going to be able to walk out of here with something that you can use, that you feel good about, that you could turn around and use with your students tomorrow if you want to. What?
Here already has like lessons in Google Docs. Like who already uses it?
Yep, great. Okay, it's perfect. You guys will be good to go. So, like I said, we're going to go over lots of different ones. We're not necessarily going to take time to create each type of those lessons, but we're going to take time to create some of them. So the first thing that you need to do so you can participate with us today is go to docentedu.com, or you can search Docent EDU in the App Store, and you're going to install that extension or that app. The business cards that we handed out, on the back side of the business card, there is a code, because Docent EDU, although super, super inexpensive, does have a fee. That code on the back is going to give you a free year subscription, which will give you unlimited lessons for unlimited students. So Matt and I wanted to make sure that you guys had that since we were wanting to make you make so many lessons. Without the free code, you get to make 5 lessons, and we don't ever delete anything like that. The only thing would be that like you wouldn't be able to create any more after that. But so if you go to docenedu.com and you click, so in order to work along with me today, oh, you need one? Yeah. Yep, we're doing more. Yep, sign up as a teacher. So if you just go to docenedu.com, click sign up and get the browser extension, and then you're gonna get the browser extension. If you're on a Android or a iPad, I don't see any people. You just gotta search in the App Store. And you wanna sign up as a teacher, yeah. When your students are doing this, they're gonna do the exact same thing. They're just gonna click sign up as a student. So
go to the App Store, sorry.
yeah, or you would just go to docenedu.com and there's the big blue button that says sign up and get the browser extension.
So you notice as you're signing up, it asks you if you're a teacher or student, so you essentially have your students go through the same process. They would click on that they're a student, and then it'll ask them for a class code. So you'll be creating a class, and each class is a unique code. If you've never used Pear Deck, it's very similar to that. And so once they've entered that in, then they'll have access to all of those lessons created.
Yep, it's also one-click Google sign-in because we all know we hate when we forget usernames and passwords. So one-click Google sign-in as well. Is anyone not familiar? Should I go over really quickly with what a browser extension is? Is anyone not familiar with what browser extensions are? We're good? Oh, you guys are awesome. Awesome people. Okay. And Matt's my gopher, so if you're having issues, you can raise your hand and Matt will run over and help you as well. So you don't have to insert the code right now. That's you do want to insert it by midnight though, because the free year will expire at midnight. But when we'll show you where to insert the code. So. Okay, so the first type of lesson that we're going to go over is a text-based lesson. I call it text-based because that's pretty much the only caveat is that it needs to have some sort of text in it. So I'm going to show you an example and go through my example, and then we're going to create your own lesson here. So an example right here, like I said, I teach English. So I found a story and I copy pasted that story into a Google Doc. Anyone ever take anything from the internet and copy paste it into a Google Doc? Yes. So that is what I did. I found this short story called The Cat, okay? And I copy pasted it into a Google Doc and I published that Google Doc to the web. I'm gonna show you how to do that. So what I did is instead of, before what my lesson would have been was just a Google Doc with that text, maybe some questions at the end. Maybe I'd have some other tabs that they were going to. It'd be confusing. It would have lots of tabs. It would be hard to know the workflow. So now what I did with my docenedu extension, this example here, is I have my Google Doc, and as you can see, it starts out with a question where I'm asking my students to predict what the story is going to be about. I have a vocab word highlighted with what I said, what do you think it could be for shadowing? I have a multiple choice question for my students to do some comprehension checks. I have a free answer question. I also, in this lesson, it was about characterization. And so if some of my students forgot what characterization is, I embedded a YouTube video in my published Google Doc here. So now if for my students who don't remember what characterization is, because the next question's about characterization, they can go and they can watch that video to remind themselves. I also have a live class discussion right here. It says, compare and contrast Joe from the narrator, make sure to read other classmates' responses. So now while my students are reading this story in a Google Doc, they can now have a live class discussion. Right there, I have some more vocabulary. Another discussion at the end, some more questions, vocabulary, and then I embedded a GIF at the end just for fun, because who doesn't love GIFs, right? And a discussion at the end again. So that's kind of just my text-based lesson. So in order for you to create a text-based lesson, I need you to find some sort of text that you want to make a lesson around. If you have no idea what to make a lesson around, you could go to the newspaper and just copy paste some text into a Google Doc right now. Or on the presentation, I did link, I think I linked a short story there if you want a short story. Your goal right now is to find some sort of text. I don't want you making something you're never gonna use. So find some sort of text that you'd like to create a lesson around right now, and then just copy paste that into a new Google Doc. So if you're having any issues, Matt and I can walk around and help you with that right now. That's what we're doing. So find some sort of text, copy paste it into a new Google Doc. I'm gonna be doing the exact same thing up here so you can see what I'm doing. If the internet isn't super slow.
So just create the Google account doc in our own account.
Yep, just go to your own account, create a Google Doc. So I'm gonna take this text right here. I think I might wanna make a lesson about this. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna go to my drive. Say new Google Doc. When you paste, if you don't know this trick, this is great. Do you guys know what Control-Shift-V does?
Paste without the special.
Paste without the special formatting. So if you copy from somewhere else, you know you paste and it's like super big or the wrong type of text or whatever like that, and you like hate it. If you do, I'm on a Mac though. Oh, I'm on a Mac. Matt, how do you do Control-Shift-V on a Mac? Command-Shift-V?
Maybe.
Yes, you win too. Okay, so I have my Google Doc here with my text. Thank you, Google Doc, for making automatic titles now. Do you guys know that Google Docs does that? Takes the first line. Okay, makes it your title. You just click on Untitled Document. It makes it your title. So here's my article. I want my students to learn about cryogenic preservation. I copied and pasted this from the internet.
There's a couple of people that I've talked to, some people in the back too, that had trouble. They were signing in. They're using Safari. It works in Safari as a bookmarklet, but Docent.edu works best if you're using Chrome or Firefox. So if you're using Safari, like that's the only one you have.
Control-Shift-V. It's paste. Awesomeness.
Oh.
Control-Shift-V.
Quiz takes a lot.
So what I'm going to do next to make this into a lesson, because if I gave this right to my students, they'd say, no, thank you. Missy?
Okay,
Yes.
you said that it takes the first, mine still says Untitled when I pasted.
Well, you have to click on the title.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Nice.
Just learn 2 tricks.
Yep.
Okay, should have a marble for every trick. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, Google Products is this really, really cool thing where you can publish them to the web and pretty much make web pages out of any of your Google apps. So what I'm going to do, and what you should do, is and I mean literally, if you don't, I want this to be something you can use, but if you just want to type, copy, paste a paragraph in from something somewhere, you can do that too. So I'm gonna say File, and then I'm going to say publish to the web. And it's going to say, do you really want to? And I say publish. Do you really want to do that? Yes, I do. Okay. And then it's going to give me this link. So I'm going to copy that link, open a new tab, paste that in a new tab. And now this is my published Google Doc. So you can see that my Google Doc was here, right? And it's like a full Google Doc, but I just want it to be a published Google Doc. So I'll go over that one more time to get to it. So you say File, Publish to the web, and then it's going to say, do you publish? I already clicked it, but you're going to say Publish. It's going to say, do you really want to? You say OK. Copy that link, paste it in a new tab, and you get to your published Google Doc.
Wouldn't you need to give credit to where you took that article?
Yeah, I'm not being very nice with credit right now. I'm not actually.
But so is there an easy way we can do that? Like just.
Oh,
just
I would have
remember to put
just
it in there?
I just would have cut when I
The
should have
URL?
copied pasted the URL and like that up there, but I was being lazy.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just being lazy. Sorry, the English teacher being lazy. Yeah.
So once you publish it to the web,
Yep.
are we no longer able to edit what it looks like?
You are. What published docs do is they will update, like see this little button that I clicked down here, it automatically republish when changes are made. You want to make sure that's clicked. And then what it does is if you make a change in your Google Doc, every 5 minutes it'll update your published thing. So it's not going to be an automatic thing. It'll be every 5 minutes. So now that I have my published Google Doc, I want to make that what?
Hold on one second. So I noticed that a number of you have iPads, and I was just playing around with it, and you
Yeah.
can't publish a doc when you're in
on
the
an
app,
iPad. Oh,
which is kind of annoying.
yeah.
So for those of you that have an iPad right now, and you're just like, well, I'm really kind of stuck with this right now. As Karen's going through this one, I'm going to get it set up to kind of show you how to do that on a website. Actually, what you can do is if you copy the URL of the website that you find, and then go into the app and tap on the plus. Go into the dashboard real quick.
Sorry.
If you're
on the app right now,
yeah. So you copy the URL of the text that you wanted to dose in, and then click on the plus,
Yeah.
and then it'll take
Okay.
you there.
So
So on the iPads,
that's going around Google Docs. But
yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you have access then to a computer, then like a school or at home, you could then create that dosing if
Yeah.
you're using it. At
Also, if you don't, you can just literally copy my example lesson if you want to too. I put that on the presentation. But like I said, I want you to be doing stuff that's good for you. So now I got my published Google Doc here, right? I'd still give this to a student and they'd still say, no, thank you, Ms. Hogan. So now that we have our extension or the app, I'm just going to click on my extension. And now I have this toolbar on the left-hand side.
Oh, you have more things than I do. I have 4 things. You have.
Dude, bad stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So now I'm going to show you all the different tools on the toolbar and all the different functionality. So you feel free to play around with what you're doing on your doc while I'm playing around with mine.
Okay, keep going. Okay.
So I'm going to click. The first tool is just a highlight tool. So if you click on the pencil, and then you have this highlight tool right here, I can now highlight whatever I want to bring my students' attention to. So let's say I know they're not going to know the word cryogenic. I'm going to double click on cryogenic once I've clicked on my highlight tool, and now the word cryogenic is highlighted. Let's say I want a comment. So see if I click on my highlight that I've done, it gives me 2 options. It gives me a trash can, that's how I delete my highlight, and it gives me a plus. The plus, I can put my own comments on my highlight. So, oh, science people, what would be a good definition of cryogenic? Deep frozen? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and so now the word cryogenic has a highlight and my definition, okay? So that's the highlight tool. You can highlight as much or as little as you want. So you just have to make sure you click on the highlight tool. See, right now it's not clicked. So if I were to click on anything, it wouldn't work. But if I go and I click on the highlight tool, and now I go over and I wanted to highlight that. So for example, that is a really good intro. I'm an English teacher, right? Look at this good introduction for a quote, okay? And now my students are gonna see that when they click on it. So that's the highlight tool. So you can highlight things, bring things to your students' attention, put definitions, put explanations. The next tool, I'm gonna skip a tool on the toolbar. The next tool that I wanna show you that you can do on your text-based Google Doc here is the question tool. So I'm gonna click on question. Okay, you wanna make sure on the toolbar that it's highlighted. You click on question, and then the way this works is it does paragraph breaks, yeah? So let's say I want to have a predict question at the beginning of my text. So see how it's highlighting right there? I can click, and now I can put a question right at the beginning of my text. Maybe some sort of anticipatory question. What do you want to learn based off the title? I can change my points if I want it to be a different amount of points. Maybe I only want that to be 1 point because it's a prediction one. Click create. So now I have a question right at the beginning. So what you can go through and do on your Google Doc right now is add some questions in your text where maybe you'd want your students to be answering some questions.
Can you do it again?
Yes, so I'm gonna click on question over on my toolbar. And then as I move my mouse around, wherever it does that yellow, that's where it's telling you you can click, and it'll put a question after that yellow.
What if it doesn't wanna, I'm trying to,
Do the yellow, if it doesn't do the yellow.
well, it turns yellow, but it,
Did you publish it to the web? You're not on the published.
oh, you have to get in the publish.
Yeah, you have to be on the published doc. Yep, you have to be on the published doc. So to do that, to publish the doc to the web again, I'm on my document right now. I click file, I click publish to the web.
No, but I mean, like, if I accidentally closed it, how would I find it?
You just go back to file, publish to the web, and it'll have the link right there.
Yes, once you published it, you'll need to go to that special link that's up at the top.
I mean, I haven't, I was just.
Okay.
But when you post a question, then is it anyone in the universe will answer it?
Nope. So I'll show you how you're going to assign this to students. You only assign it to students in certain classes. So you make classes, and then what's nice about Docent.edu is all of this stuff I'm putting on this Google Doc is a layer on top of the Google Doc. So if anyone happened to get this link to my Google Doc here, my published Google Doc, and they went to it, even if they clicked and they had for some reason the Docent.edu extension, unless they were enrolled in the class to which I assigned this, they wouldn't see anything but the published Google Doc. All Docent.edu is doing layers on top of that website. So I might add another, I'm gonna add a question here. So I clicked on the question, highlighted over. I wanna add a multiple choice question. So what should my question be? What is a good paraphrase of the first sentence? Right, I can change my points if I want to change my points. Then I click create. Now that, just as it is just a free response question. I want to change it into a multiple choice question. I'm just going to click right here on answer, and I'm going to start typing my multiple choices. Let's see. Think about the brain's software. Okay, and I hit enter, and now it gave me choice A. Imagine the brain's software. I'm doing really bad paraphrases right now. Think about your brain. Okay, I want that one to be the correct answer. I'm going to highlight that that's the correct answer. So now what's going to happen when my students are answering that, they're going to get immediate feedback. If they click on the wrong answer, it'll be red and it'll say like try again. And then they can try again. Yeah.
Where did you get the
Multiple choice? Yep. So all you have to do is create your question. Yep. Click save. I'll do another one here. Create your question. Hi. What's your name? Click create, and then right where it's answers, start typing on answer. Yeah. So my name's Karen. My name's Matt. My name is Kai is 15. And the correct answer is Karen.
What if it doesn't matter? If you just want them to answer, can you click both of them and they'll both be correct, or is it gotta be correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if I don't like, maybe I don't like Ty's 15, now that one's gone. Yep. So if open-ended is where you just don't go through and ask anything, right? So now that's an open-ended question.
It's gonna put it into a form.
Yep, not a form, it'll put it in the dashboard. I'll show you the dashboard when we're done here. Okay, This tool right here is the discussion tool. So discussions work just like questions, but instead of it being a question that your students are answering, they're discussing. So I click on the discussion tool so that it's highlighted in yellow. And then once again, I can figure out after what paragraph I want my discussion. Maybe I want it at the end here for them to reflect. So it'll say, create a discussion. What's the discussion topic? Would you or wouldn't you do this? Click create. And now this is a live auto-updating discussion that my students can participate in when they are reading this and doing this lesson. There's no refreshing, nothing like that. It'll just auto-update all their responses. And then you can choose to, I haven't assigned this to any classes yet, but if I were to assign this docent to multiple classes, I could filter my discussion by class as well. So that's the discussion tool. So we've gone over highlighting, right? Putting comments on highlights. You can always delete your highlight with that trash can. Open-ended questions, multiple choice questions, and then discussions. The last tool on your toolbar is the sticky note tool. Yep, so if you click on that box that looks like a little sticky note, it's the same thing. It realizes paragraph breaks. So the sticky note tool is really, really versatile. So I just click on where I want it. What I can do in the sticky note tool is I can type here if I want to. I could put, if I wanted to type here, type, okay? What's also super awesome about the sticky note tool is it will let you embed anything that has an embed code. So most anything you use, Edpuzzle, Quizlet, ThingLink, what else do people, what are some favorite apps you guys use in your classroom?
Digo.
Yep, Digo. Well, what else? Anyone else use anything in their classroom? Cool, YouTube, any of those things, they give you embed codes. So what I can do now, let's say this was about cryogenic freezing. I know my students aren't going to know anything about cryogenics. So I'm gonna go to YouTube. I wanna find a video about cryogenics. I'd be a better teacher and I'd actually watch this video. But all I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna get the YouTube link, copy that link. I'm gonna go back to my docent. See how I had my sticky note right there? Paste, and now my YouTube video is in there. So, yep, just the URL. You don't even have to do an embed code with YouTube.
Which are
The sticky note tool right here, the sticky note tool. If I'd want him to type, I can be like, please watch this video.
I did check my video.
Isn't it really cool?
Yeah.
Super cool. I could also do, let's say I wanted, let's see, presentation cryogenics. I spelled that wrong. Please ignore that. SlideShare here. Okay, SlideShare has a presentation. I want to put that in there. I'm just going to click share. They give me this embed code here. All I have to do is copy that code they gave me. And back here, I'm going to click on the sticky note again, right? Because that's how I put things in here. Maybe I want them to watch that way up at the top. Maybe I want them to go through this. Paste. And now the Google presentation about cryogenics is in here.
Where did you go get that one?
I just literally did a Google search for cryogenic presentation and they had one on SlideShare. Yeah. Yeah.
How do you, okay. So sometimes you need the embed code sometimes.
The only one you never need the embed code for is YouTube videos. We did the coding so that, because we use YouTube videos so often that it doesn't need that. But pretty much anything you use will give you, like this, if you click on share, it'll give you that embed code so that you can do that. Yeah, Matt and I are the co-founders. I don't do the coding. I'm the ideas person, as my husband likes to say. Oh, thank you. So I've made my lesson, right? Now, how do my students get that lesson, right? That's the question. So what you need to do is you need to go to your dashboard. There's a couple different ways to go to your dashboard. On the toolbar right here, you see the thing that looks like your dashboard on your car. You can click there, and it'll take you to your dashboard. Now, your dashboard is where all your lessons live and all your grades live and your classes live. So all that data that those students are entering into the questions, it goes and it lives here. So in order to make a class, because right, we have to assign this to people, right? You just click on classes, and you click on the plus on classes. Now, if you have Google Classroom, you can import your class roster right now from Google Classroom.
Is there any way to import like a CSV file?
Matt,
or
can you import a CSV file?
can you import CSV files, rosters, or?
No, we have that on our features list. So we've got a whole collection of different requests from teachers. We're kind of like prioritizing them for new ones. So you can send us that, actually some feedback. Yeah, go to create that. And sorry to derail it right now. Oh, you're doing the.
That's fine. I can find it later.
But yeah, so if you guys do have any like suggestions for like features or something like that, you send us an email. We kind of then collect all the responses.
So if you don't have a Google Classroom and you want your students to get into your class, all you have to do is give them that the 4-letter code that it automatically generates. Otherwise, if you have a projecting system like this and they're in your class, you can click on the binoculars and then it'll put the code up on the board. Otherwise, the way I've done it, I've been like, this is nice, we made it this way, so you're not like running around with the chicken with your head cut off. When your students go to docenedu.com and click sign up, and it'll ask them for a student, it will prompt them for a class code. They can keep going if they don't enter a class code, but it'll prompt them. So if you're sitting in class, you're having kids enroll, it should max take 2 minutes. If you didn't do the Google Classroom stuff or they install the code, you could put your class code up on the board and then they should be good to go.
So if they're in Google Classroom, they're automatically.
If you do the import, yep, it's still gonna prompt them to install the extension, but they'll be enrolled in that class once they install the extension.
So if we have a teacher account, the students don't need any sort of an account.
Yes, they do, because otherwise they're not gonna be able to see that later.
Not a paid account.
No. Of course we would never do that. No, we're not crazy. So then I have my classes. Okay, so now I want to assign my docent that I made here, right? So I can do that a couple different ways. I can be on my docent lesson. I can click on the docenedu symbol, and I can assign it to a class or multiple classes. Let's say I just want it to that class. I can click, and now it's assigned to those students. You can also then share it to their Google Classroom. If you imported that class from Google Classroom, you can assign it to them and then click share to Google Classroom and it'll share it to your Google Classroom. I can also assign things by not even going to the lesson. Back here on my dashboard, when I click on docents, I made this docent a really long time ago. Let's say I really want to assign it to another class. I can see that it's assigned to my English literature class right now. But I can click assign, and then I can assign it to another class if I want to. I can unassign it to that class. So I can assign from the dashboard as well.
What's the orange button?
Okay.
When it uploads to Google Classroom, when you click it as an assignment in Google Classroom, does each kid get to then edit their own copy?
So it's not, you're not ever editing the doc, right? Because we publish the doc.
Right. It's a web-based,
right? So all they're doing, I mean, every kid when they go to this docent, I mean, you know, I have kid A and kid B and kid C. Kid B is not going to see what kid A is writing in that question. The only thing that all the kids would see is if you did a class discussion, and then they'd all be seeing that.
They would only see that as an overlay.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
no other place
Yes. No.
And do you have to upload discussions before they show up for everybody?
No, they do. do, so that's just that's a classroom management kind of digital citizenship thing. I have had a couple kids be idiots on it, but since it lives updates, I'm usually on there too, and then I just am watching out for it. Like and Matt and I developed this when we taught an alternative learning center, and you would think like, ooh, the ALC kids are gonna write bad things, and really it was fine. So. Yeah, it's their name, because he signed in with Google. So if you don't want the discussion part, then you could just not put the discussion part on there.
So they see there's like if they were to use we have a school EDU student email account.
Yeah.
Would they see their names or would they see their
I forget I think it's their names. It's their names. Yeah, it is. Because in my school, it's numbers. It's like their ID numbers is their Google emails, but they see their names. So that's with just a text-based one. Oh, somebody asked me about the orange button. Orange button. So orange button is if you make an awesome lesson and you really want to share it with somebody else, all you have to do is click the orange button. So if you want to share it with like another teacher, right? If you want to share this with the students, I'm going to assign it to my student, right? If I want to share my lesson with my department, or somebody wants to share their lesson with me, they click that orange button, and then it'll give a share link, and they could share it on Facebook, Twitter, or they could email it to you. And then what happens is that it's just going to be the same thing. Like if you were to click on one of my links in the presentation right here where it says example lesson to copy, what it's going to do for you, this is what it looks like. Is up at the top, it'll say Karen Hogan shared this docent, copy docent. Once they click on that copy docent button, it'll plop it into their dashboard without any student data, only the lesson. Yeah.
So it will make them copy the docent or
Yes.
make them do that.
Yeah, for a teacher, when you're doing the share for a teacher. Yeah.
And they'd have to already be logged into an account.
So if I sent this, to my friend who I really wanted to start using docent who hadn't done it, when they click copy docent, it'll prompt them to then create an account. Yep. Yeah.
So where does the result go?
Yep. From the answers. So I had my students, they read about cryogenics. They answered my dashboard. This is like not my teacher one, so it's not going to have the best things. But if you see up at the top, you see docents, classes. We already went over the classes. Then the third tab here is grades. All the answers go into the dashboard here for grades. And it has 4 different layers of filters that you can filter your stuff by. Right now I have no filters on, right? If I wanted to look by just one lesson, I could filter by docent, and I could say which docent lesson I want to grade right now. So instead of me grading so let's say, where would I even have to start? This is like not my teacher account. I don't know where my let's see if there's any answers in that one. Oh, there's no answers in that one. I don't know what my answers are. Matt, are you logged in with answers? Okay, so here we go. Okay, so this is a docent that had some answers in it. What I can also do then is I can then filter by question. So if you want to see just a quick snapshot of let's say you asked a really important summative question at the end of your lesson, right? Like as an exit ticket thing. You can just filter by question. I can filter by one question and see what all my student responses were for that one question. Then I can filter by student as well. So if, instead of grading 120 Google Docs and opening each of those Google Docs, I can just filter by student right here and grade right here. And I'm all in the same place.
Can you put like 0.5? Is it whole numbers you have to put in? Or
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, whole numbers.
You could theoretically, to see what's like the student side, share your cryogenic, make it quick class for us.
Yes, yep, I'm gonna do that. Yep, we're gonna get to one, yeah. Yep. Currently we don't have LMS stuff like that, but I mean, what I've done is I just copy, and it'll do, if I were to, see it says class average, and if I was filtering by student, it'd give me a student average. Yeah, not yet. We have that. We worked on getting the Google Classroom integration first. And then I can score it there as well. And students have the dashboard too, so they can see everything that's assigned to them. They can see the classes that they're in, and then they can see the grades that they have gotten as well. So that's the dashboard. So the next, I'm gonna skip this because I want to get on because somebody said we want to work on a docent together, maybe to see how it feels as a student. One thing you can do, here's another trick I can put into my bucket with a marble. You know that Google will take any PDF and transform it into a doc? Did you know that? No. It will. So there's directions on this slide for how to do it. You can just literally copy paste a PDF into a doc, and that'll usually work. Sometimes it doesn't. So you can just import the PDF into your drive, right click it, open as doc. Kind of got to fiddle around with it a little bit. And then you can publish it to the web, click on the extension, and then you're making a lesson out of a PDF.
But you can't alter the PDF, you can just put a layer on top of it, right?
Oh, well, I'm altering it when I put it in my Google Doc. I'm doing all the heck I want to it. Yeah.
You can make it.
Yep, because I'm making it a doc. I'm not making it a PDF anymore. I'm making it into a doc. Google will let you steal things from PDFs is what I'm trying to say and change that. So close reading is another type of lesson. I'm going to skip to where we can all be on one and maybe come back to these. But let's try to get on one together. Would you guys like that? Where it's like to us, where you can see what it's like for a student. So the first thing, you guys need to switch. So you can be my students. I want you to be my students. I'll be your amazing teacher. If you go to your dashboard and you see up here, you got you either have your little picture, a little blank hat or something like that. If you go to your dashboard, you can get to your dashboard a couple ways. If you just open a new tab and click on the extension, you can get to your dashboard. That's a quick and easy way to get to your dashboard. Open a new tab, click on the extension, you're in your dashboard. So if you click on your little head, that's where you can also say if you want to get emails from us. Right here underneath and kind of grayed out stuff, it'll say switch to a student account. So you can be my student right now. I want you to switch to a student account. The internet being kind of slow. Did it stop?
No, just
No.
For me, it's
Super slow.
taking a while.
Yeah.
So the class code then, let me get to the class code. Once you get switched to a student, you're going to click on classes and join a class, and that is the class code.
Case sensitive.
Yeah. So once again, to do that, you're going to go to your dashboard. You're going to click and switch to a student account, and then click on classes, the plus to join a class, and that's the class code. Yep. Yep, and then that's the class code. So click on classes, yep, plus next to the class, and then enter the class code. UDDB. And like I said, when students are first signing up, like the first time they sign up, Docent will prompt them when they install the extension to enter a class code. So everyone at the same time will be like, enter the class code. Yeah.
So the students, like in my Chromebooks, the kids are going to be adding the extension.
Yep.
They'll go in as a student.
Yep.
I've done all my, they don't have to. They just put in their
Yep. Yep. So the nice thing about Chrome extensions is it follows you no matter where you are as long as you're logged into Chrome. So if you're in your Chromebook, you're automatically logged into Chrome. If you have like a Mac or something like that, I just had to log into my Chrome to get all my extensions. Or if you're on a different type of PC device, they just have to log into Chrome. In the iPad app, they're going to log into the iPad app with their Google sign-in.
They want to do the assignment at home.
Yes. Perfectly fine. Yes, I do have my 6th graders. I've had to send out a couple emails and videos, and we have videos for how to do this on our YouTube channel where they're like, the extension isn't there. I don't know what's going on. And I'll be like, you got to sign into your Chrome and then say link your data. And then the minute that happens, then everything will pop up for them again.
If students use an iPad to answer the questions.
Yeah.
What about the extension then?
So there's an app for the iPad. Yeah. So did we get in the class? Okay, so the docent I want you to be on is one that is called Critics Respond to Supreme Court Case. If you click back on your docents, once you've gotten on the class, there should be a couple docents there, and one's going to say Critics Respond to Supreme Court Case. And you're going to click on it. And it's going to load the extension, and now we have discussions. So just for fun, why don't people start answering my silly questions? I think I just put really silly questions in here, and you don't have to answer them seriously at all. But you can just start answering some questions. If you're on the app right now, you can do the same thing where you click on classes, add the class code. Yep, so right there we got some answers. Right, so we see people doing the discussions right now. So I just did this one where it's just discussion based. That was one of the types of lessons that I do, but you can see that my discussions are auto-populating with what people's responses are. Unicorns really do exist. They do, Heather. Corvettes are cool, right? So you can see that right now the answers are auto-populating. Google Classroom, I can show you. We have videos about how to do it with Google Classroom. I use this all the time with Classroom. So in conjunction with, I guess I would say, Brenda. So right, so you see, updating. So super cool, auto-updating, no refreshing. There's lots of different ways you could use discussions. You could use them, as I said, I'm an English teacher. I use them a lot for a really big standard in language arts is that you're doing argumentative writing and using textually based evidence. And so I a lot of times try to write a discussion that's some sort of controversial topic and have my discussions work as that, where I'm having students answer that controversial topic as a discussion instead of just an answer. So they actually feel there's some type of audience for their thoughts versus just me, the teacher. It's them as students. Another thing you could use it for would be back channel chats. So one thing that would be really, and then students wouldn't have to go to another web page to have a back channel chat. So if you're doing a lesson and you want to have students stop, they can ask each other questions using the discussion. I could just make a discussion that says, ask each other questions here if you're having problems in the science lab right now. And then they could be using the discussion for that as well. And I could be doing it as well. So I could be saying, hey, you got a question for me? Put it in the discussion. And then I'm walking around, I'm helping people. I also maybe have that discussion up. I can see, especially for students that are a little averse to raising their hand or asking questions in class, a discussion works really well for that because they're typing it out. It's not as threatening. We actually have a newsletter that I can link in the presentation to with 8 different ways to use the discussion feature. I like to do it for the controversial things where I have them do the discussion first, have them read the article, they get the evidence, and then we have like a fishbowl and they feel a little more secure in doing the fishbowl because they've already had the discussion. So I do that as well. So
Can you reply to the comments on there? Like if I wanted to
That will be a feature. Right now, if I wanted to reply, I'd be like, Brenda, I don't know what you said. Yeah, it goes in order. So now Brenda. A fishbowl is when you have like kids in the, like a Socratic seminar. We have kids in the middle and kids on the outside doing a discussion. Yeah.
Do you recommend sticking with the entire word versus copying and then actually being it onto a document if you have all these
So
features already?
it depends on what you want to do. I mean, Docent works on pretty much any website. So I got this from the Washington Post and Newsella. Depended on my age of students and like how easily they're distracted. Usually, yes, I totally just do it on the actual website. The reason I would put it in a doc would be that I want to like not have them read the whole thing. Like if it's a New York Times article that's super duper long, or there's something that's maybe inappropriate for their age, or like I would copy paste it into a Google Doc. Or if it's on a website that I know has tons of pop-up ads and like really annoying stuff like that, I'd also maybe copy paste it into a doc and do that as well. So it would kind of just depend on what my goal was with my students. So you guys can see as students too, you have a toolbar as a student right now. So you can play around with what you can do as a student. You can have students can highlight things. Students can have the sticky note feature. So students have a toolbar as well.
Just goes on our own page though.
Yeah. And then students also have that button to get to the dashboard. So that's how it is as a student. So I'm going to show you a few more things you can do. Just do not forget, people, that you are going to need to switch back to being a teacher. Because if you try to go create anything right now, you're not going to be able to. So once you're done playing around as a student, you just click on your little head again, and then it'll tell you switch to a teacher account.
If I'm playing around as a student and I go to the sticky notes or whatever,
Yep.
and I want to add a video.
You totally can.
I can, but you'll never see it. You'll be able to see it.
No, so it's more just like a, I don't know, it's a way, I've had them actually screenshot stuff before, but what Matt has done, we're kind of doing this in beta right now. We have the goal of where students would be able to completely annotate and make lessons as a student, right? But right now, students can switch to teachers too. You know what I mean? You guys just switched back and forth between a teacher and student. So Matt had a student this year who made a docent about offensive Halloween costumes and made Amber and made a whole lesson about it. She was a teacher. She used that orange link to then give that to Matt. She switched back to a student, and then Matt assigned that to the whole entire classroom. So the only thing that you would run into, students, if they made more, if you were having them do that right now a lot, and they made more than 5, like it would try to prompt them to pay, but then they just delete one that they've already made. So
That's something that we're working on. We're working on kind of this like groups feature thing that would kind of simplify.
yeah, I mean, because ideally it would be awesome, right, if I'm teaching some kids and I have a kid over here who's reading something who maybe isn't on task, but I'm like, wow, you're really, really super awesomely interested in that. Could you make a lesson on that right now and send that lesson to the rest of the class? So right now you kind of got to hack it a little bit where they'd switch to a teacher and do that way. Otherwise, the reason we put those tools on there for the student is more for like an organizational kind of thing. So if I have students who really need help while they're reading, they can use the highlight tool. They can take some notes, and when they go back to it, their stuff will still be there. So it's more like for them right now, but if you want them to be sharing that with someone else.
So if we need more than 5 of these, we have to pay for it?
So we gave you that business card on the back that has that free year right now. Yeah.
Or up to 5 things, or as many?
No, as many as you want. That's why it's free year.
We figure out how to do that.
Oh yeah, to enter the code, when you're in your dashboard right now, there's a thing up at the top. I don't know what it says.
it'll be a blue bar. And it'll
There's
say
a blue bar.
subscribe now.
Subscribe now. That's where you put your code in.
It was there earlier, now it's not showing.
So another,
Created a new thing.
what?
I think when I.
Oh, okay.
When I created a new.
Oh.
So another cool type of lesson that I use this for, I just started doing this, was lesson review. So I wanted kids, I don't know if you've ever been on Google Classroom and attached like 10 things underneath a post. I hate that. I can't stand it. It confuses my students. So what I'll do is I'll make a Google Doc. I'll make a Google Doc that let me show you what the Google Doc looks like without all the docent stuff on it. I'll make a Google Doc, and all my Google Doc was a list of all the things I wanted them to do to review for the test. This is for my 6th graders. We're doing a nonfiction reading unit. So all I did was make a Google Doc with a list, and I published it to the web, right? And it went like this. So now I wanted them to be able to use this to review so that all of their review materials was in one place for them to take the test. So I embedded a YouTube video, because first thing was, so I embedded a few YouTube videos. I embedded a lot of YouTube videos underneath. And then I also embedded some links to other docents that we had done. I embedded some vocabulary cards for their vocabulary review, so they have that all in one place. Yeah, so this is a test review. So all I did in a Google Doc was make a list and then use the sticky note tool to embed all the things that they needed to do to review my test. I did this on a day I was gone, and it was wonderful because it wasn't like me linking all these different things. They were just on one doc with all their stuff, and then it was and it was in one place for them. So that was really, really nice. So I use it for test review as well.
Could it just type up that list in Docent? You had to type it in Google Docs first and then upload it?
Because Docent works and it modifies web pages, so you have to have some sort of web, some sort of web page. So let me show you a cool list here. Like I said, there are tons and tons and tons of things that you can embed. We have a list right now on our website. You just go to docentedu.com, resources. We have a list right now. It's not super pretty, but it's a list right now of about 70 apps that give you embed codes that you can do different things.
And some of them, you can even create your own embed codes. I think our math teacher's up in the back of like some of the tools like Desmos.
Desmos. Okay, so let's pretend. So here's demonstration of sign. I've never used Desmos before because I'm an English teacher. How do you, Matt, how do you share it?
Okay, so what you want to do is, they've got a built-in share, but it's kind
It's
of,
on the top left.
But that's like the rookie share.
Oh.
Like this is gonna be like hour of code here. Is everybody doing code with their students? No? Well, you're now gonna know how to do some HTML. So I'm just gonna create like a new doc here so everybody can kind of see what's going on. So you can do this with any website, but what I'm gonna do is I wanna embed this actual graph, and the share code that Desmos gives me just simply gives me like an image, and I want like the whole
Where they can
thing.
actually do stuff.
And so I'm just going to copy that URL up at the top, and let's create a new doc so we can see it pretty well on the screen here.
So most things, it's funny you picked Desmos, but most of those things on that list, they give you embed codes, right? You saw how I embedded a slide share. I click share, it gave me an embed code. Quizlet, I click share, it gives me an embed code. Edpuzzle, Educan, and Zaption, you click share, they give you an embed code. Google Apps gives you embed codes.
Yeah. So this is, and their embed code is essentially this of where I put in, I said it was an iframe, it's an internet frame.
And I tell it I want it to be 500, that's 500 pixels tall. And then href is your hyper reference. So this is the link that it's going to go to. And then you close that tag, and then you create your closing iframe tag. And then we just did some coding.
So
All right.
then I'm going to use we have videos about how to do it. Matt makes it sound really easy, but so I use my sticky note tool. I pasted it wrong.
Yeah, so it gets copied with some formatting from Google. So what you can do is you paste it up in the address bar to get rid of formatting. And then
Oh, the shield? Maybe refresh it.
oh, probably because
Yeah.
yeah.
So we did this in our last session where somebody wanted to embed something that doesn't automatically give an embed code to. I personally don't embed things that don't have embed codes. But because it can be a little messy,
Why
like
isn't
it
it
is being
working
right now. But I don't know why it's not working.
There's,
right
I just made a video on YouTube. It's on there. Like it works, I promise.
But like I said, we have all of these things. Where did it go? So if you click on Docent.edu, resources, tools to embed, voice recorders, code, mind maps, videos, presentations. You can embed Facebook posts, but I mean, if your school blocks Facebook, then it's blocked. Infographics, poplets, quizzes, screencasts, slide shares, Tinkercad, Ziteboard, Zaptions, all of those things then you can now embed in any website. So one of the things that I do a lot is I want to make sure that my students, I want to differentiate as much as possible, right? So I want to make sure that they understand stuff as much as they possibly can. So here's a website. I'm going to create a new doc. I could, like we said, I could just literally click on the Docent.edu extension right now and make this into a docent on NPR. But I think maybe some of my kids are going to be, maybe I don't want the whole thing. Maybe some of them are going to read the comments, and I really don't want them to get distracted by the comments. So I'm going to copy paste into my new doc. Oh, I forgot to do the trick, guys. Control-Shift-V. So it did all the formatting nice. And then all I have to do to title it is click on Untitled Document. And it titles it. So I'm going to say File, Publish to the Web, Publish, OK. I get that link, I copy it, I go to a new tab. Okay, there's my published doc. So Docent.edu I think is really good for accessibility. I know not all of my students would be able to read this without any help, right? So one thing that I really like to do, if you have a text that's a pretty canonical text, if you're an English teacher, YouTube has audiobooks, same for poems, like up the wazoo, okay? They're just everywhere, and I can embed those really easily. But this text, there's no audio, right? And I want to make this accessible to all of my students, independent of their reading level. So there's some really cool websites that let you record your voice. One is called clip.it. I'm going to record my voice reading that article so I can make that article accessible to all my students independent of their reading level. So all I have to do is click Start Recording. High chance that 2 rooms are hidden behind King Tut's tomb, Egypt says. Officials remove the linen-wrapped mummy of King Tutankhamun from his stone sarcophagus, etc., 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 right? Click Stop. Click Share My Clip. The longer you make one, it processes. I made one the other day, it was like 15 minutes. It maybe took it like a minute to process it. Look at my embed code. Rooms are hidden behind King Tut's tomb, Egypt. Right? Look at my embed code. I copy my embed code. I'm gonna go back, right? I clicked on my Docent.edu extension. I want my students to be able to listen to my voice. You can read along to me, with me, for the text. paste that embed code that they gave me. It wasn't any of the making your own embed code stuff. And now my voice, by chance that 2 rooms are hidden behind King, is embedded in the article for my students.
That's like called
Clip.it.
CLY.
Yep. And right on our resources, we have lots of them that actually let you record your voice too. Yeah. Yep. If you just go to docenedu.com and then you click on resources, we have several different types of resources. There's the tools to embed. That's where it has all of those. Then we also have text sources as well. This is all free text, open source text that you can use for your classroom. We have some free textbooks on here. I have it nonfiction, news, fiction, lots of different places to get free text. And then we also have one about accessibility as well. So, right, so I recorded my voice at the beginning. Maybe I also want, one of the things with helping students along is if you ask really frequent questions, right? Instead of having all the questions at the end by the time they've forgotten something, right? I remember my science textbook, I'd read a whole entire chapter and then you'd have to get to the end, right? And you have to flip back and forth and you forget things. So I want a question right after that sentence. I can ask a question right after that sentence. I don't have to wait until the end, okay? I want a YouTube video about Tutankhamun. Oh, I spelled it right, guys. That's exciting. I just copy the YouTube. I want to put that maybe at the end here. I just paste the YouTube link. And now my video's in that text as well. So remember, I could be doing this in the actual NPR article too. I just wanted to do this so there wasn't all the distractions.
What about if there's a site, like I'm thinking of Elm for You, sites where when you get into the database, you have to authenticate and then you're in the database.
It'll still work. They just have to go through all the authentication stuff for Elm for You. Yeah. So that's one thing I do with accessibility. Like I said, we have accessibility ideas. We have all that list of tools as well on our website with things to do. I really don't want to show you close reading because even though it makes it way better, it hurts my head. So one thing that's super, super cool too, who has people said they had lesson resources in their Google Drive, right? A lot of presentations, maybe. Any Google app will do that publish to the web thing and give you an embed code. So let me show you an example here where I used all Google apps. So this is Hamlet. Oh, here, let me show you what it looks like without all my layers, right? So this is a Hamlet soliloquy. It's his first soliloquy. What I had done in the past was I'd have them read the soliloquy. I'd have a Google drawing with what iambic pentameter is. Bonus points to anyone who knows what iambic pentameter is. Yay! I'd have a YouTube video with it. I'd have an ed puzzle. I'd have a Google form where they'd be saying, I'd get some data about whether they understood it or not. I'd have a discussion in my LMS with it. And it would just be, it wouldn't be that my students couldn't do it, but the more tabs they had open and the more things they had to switch back and forth for, the more time it would take for them to do it. The workflow would be worse, plus the more discouraged they would be. So now with Docenedu, I copied and pasted that, right? Put it in a published Google Doc. I found a Google drawing with a flow chart of is it iambic pentameter or not. I published my Google drawing to the internet, published it to the web, got the embed code. Now I have a Google drawing. I have a YouTube video about pentameter and pirates. See you later.
Thank you.
I have the audio of the actual soliloquy, because Shakespeare's meant to be heard, right? I have a Google form embedded so they can talk about how I can see how well they know iambic pentameter. Then I have questions embedded in there so that they can talk about iambic pentameter, find hyperbole. I have a Google presentation embedded in my soliloquy here. I also have a Google map. Google Maps give you embed codes embedded in my thing. So that's Hamlet's Castle. And because it's a real map embedded. So in my soliloquy, after they looked at my Google presentation, after they answered some questions and did all this stuff, they can actually go in the Google map without going anywhere else and play around. Maybe I want it to, oh, here, look. And now they can look at Hamlet's Castle after they read the soliloquy. So.
You know the guided access on the iPads, you know, once they're on this, and you have that guided access, they can still access all this things. It still works through that.
Yeah.
That view larger map still works within the pop out?
Yeah. The nice thing, it depends on the app as well, right? Some things will allow you to go full screen, right? So most Google apps will allow you to do that. If you're playing a YouTube video, up here, once you click play, you know, you can go full screen. When I embedded it, TED doesn't let you go full screen. But you can always go. We're talking about this too. You could always just zoom in, right? As well.
Why would you use a Google form instead of the questions?
Because some people are married to their Google Forms.
Pardon?
Some people are married to their Google Forms. I wouldn't, no. No. Oh, it is mine, but I just made it as an example. I would use a docent edu question. Yes. Google, if you have a lot of forms, then you could do. And I forgot to put this in here. You can embed Google Sheets as well. You can embed a spreadsheet as well using docent edu. So any of those things, they will give you embed codes. It's the exact same thing. Like the reason you guys are on my thing is I just said file, publish to the web, right? And we were only getting the links, embed code. Drawings, embed code. Sheets, embed code.
And they get all the features of Sheets, like questions and graphs.
So the example that you were showing this morning, where you had the sheets embedded, Matt was doing a science lab and he had the sheets embedded, and so students could be watching a YouTube video and then it was a lab and then they were typing in the sheet in the docent.
Data. They
Yep.
graph out of that data.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, for the Google Sheets, that's why I did that iframe thing, so that it was a little more work setting it up. So I kind of like created it so that it would work well in a small box, and then I set it so that permissions were that it, like anybody could edit it, and then I created my own custom iframe and set it that way. That way they could edit it. If I just wanted them to view it, then I could do that like public.
So what would be,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that directions on the research page?
on our YouTube channel?
Yeah, just go to YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so that takes a little bit more of a primer of kind of emphasizing the students. What I ended up doing is I'll create like separate tab, they'll name groups. So they'll be like your group 1, your group 2, and then down at the bottom is like G1, G2, G3, and then they just click on that.
Yeah. So what would be kind of fun if you wanted to right now, because I want you guys, like I said, to get as much practice as possible. If you go to your drive and just try to find something that is not a doc, maybe in your drive, if you want to. You know, you can click on the little caret right here and you can say the type of file that you want. So maybe I want to find a presentation right now. Look for a presentation or a drawing. I have all these presentations, right? Because one of the things that's hard is if you show a presentation And then you have your students answering questions based on the text plus maybe that presentation. If they're going back and forth between all those things, it's more likely that they're going to miss something, right? And they're not going to be able to go back and learn those things. So let's say I want, ooh, okay, I got this one. So I want this. Here's a presentation I have. I want to put this in my stuff. So I'm just going to say File, Publish to the Web. Oh, I'd already published it. Hold on. File, Publish to the Web, Publish. Okay. Now instead of that link, I'm just going to click on Embed. I'm going to copy that code. I did not have to come up with the code. Thank God. Click on my sticky note. Maybe I want that right there. Paste. And now that Google presentation is in my text. So you can do that with images. You just publish it to the web. Presentations, publish to the web. Let me show you how to do a Google map. Let's do a map. Let's do a map of the Hyatt Regency. Maps. Here we go. Hyatt Regency. So in order for me to embed a map, I click on the three little lines. And it says share, the little link symbol, it says share or embed map. Let's click on share or embed map. Embed map. Gives me the code. You can even choose what size you want it to be. I copy that code. I go back to, oops, my published Google Doc, wherever I want that. Paste. And now my map is there as well. Like I said, that it works on published Google Docs or any website. So if I wanted that map, here, this is Tutankhamun's King Tut's tomb. So back in Google here.
We made a custom map.
I could.
We did that one time for landfills, so I marked like where all the different landfills
Yeah, on
were
my
in
maps.
cities. And then you can then share that like custom Google map.
Yeah, my maps. We'll do that. So, well, this is not, Union Station is not where King Tut's tomb is, by the way, people. Egypt. Okay, that's better. So click menu, share embed map, copy that code. I'm gonna go back to my NPR article, click my Docent EDU extension, click my sticky note tool, and now King Tut's tomb is in my NPR article. Because why didn't NPR put that in there? Come on, NPR.
Way more.
Right? So there is that as well.
I find browsers are an issue, different versions of browsers for kids going bad. I mean, if they're using their home computers at all, you get issues with that.
No, usually the issues is just of like that they forgot to install the extension. Usually it's just kind of like as long as they know that they need to have the extension installed,
So they really have to be.
then it works.
Really.
Chrome and Firefox and Safari. Safari is weird about browser extensions, and Internet Explorer is just a nightmare for them. And so that's why we don't have them for those.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as long as they're aware, like, let them remember they need to install the extension and be signed in with the same Google account. Some students will forget that and they'll be signed in with just like their home one, like their personal one at home.
Instead of like their school one.
But usually that's like they figure that out once and then. Okay.
So the thing too is that when you are embedding all of those things, don't think that you have to reinvent the wheel. You saw, like, I just found a bunch of that stuff just by Googling it. Like, I do not make my own Quizlets a lot of the time and make all that stuff. Like, I found a Quizlet vocab for Hamlet's soliloquy. I did not make that, right? Because why would you, right? I mean, you can also find things and then modify it for your own use. So I think sometimes I can say, you know, wow, you can embed 70 different things in your lesson. I mean, that's mind blowing. You wouldn't have to do that, but. Do you guys want me to show you how to do the PDF thing?
I have a
Sure.
question. When you're on
Yeah.
the website,
Yeah.
if you launch the extension, when you go back to the website, will it have it listed in there with the website, or is it gonna have to be?
So on my dashboard, let me get to my dashboard. Oh, and it auto saves, right? So I literally just put that one thing in here, right? And the minute you start modifying a website, it'll put it in my dashboard. So now you can see down here, high chance that 2 rooms are hidden behind King Tut's tomb, and it's my NPR article. So.
Is that $40 cost, is that for one instructor account?
Yep, one instructor with unlimited students and unlimited lessons. So you guys get unlimited students and unlimited lessons for a year. And then after that year's up, like let's say my year's up tomorrow, when I log in tomorrow, I'm still gonna see all this. I'm still gonna see all my data. I'll still be able to assign this to students that I want. It just won't let you make a new one. So.
Now, are these shared somehow ever? I mean, you don't share them with other teachers unless you intentionally.
Yep,
share.
unless I intentionally do it. So let's say I tell, you know, my friend Vicky, hey Vicky, I made this awesome docent. Just Google high chance 2 rooms are behind this. And she clicks on the extension. She's not gonna see, I mean, it'll just be that she's like docenting it herself as a teacher. It's only if people are assigned to it in your class, because it's that layer on top of it. Yeah.
And then it would be that share code that they could just give her.
Yeah. So have we gone through everything? I haven't gone through PDF. Sorry, we were jumping around in my order here. Oh.
Just essentially uploading as a document.
Yeah, so PDFs are really cool. A lot of great things. You find PDFs all the time online, right? I don't know why this one isn't loading. It's thinking about it. Find another PDF. Oh, here it goes. Okay, so here's a PDF of a story. I'm going to save this in my downloads. I'm gonna go to my drive. All I have to do is drag it in my drive. And now that's in my drive, right? There it is. I can't dose in a PDF. I can dose in a Google Doc. So I'm going to highlight it, click on my 3 little things, open with Google Docs. And with Google Docs magic, it will find all the words. So if you have PDFs of things, you don't have to throw them away. It now gives you all this stuff. So what it does do is it gives you an image, and then it gives you the words that it found from that image. Image, words that it found from that image, image, words. So you have to do like a little bit of cleaning up here, and then it put the copyright stuff on every single page, and I don't want the copyright stuff on every single page, right? So I'm doing a little bit of cleaning up. And then I just say, I want a different title, story. Any of you read this story? Has anyone read The Story of an Hour by Kate Chopin? Oh, it's so good. Such a good twist. Okay, publish it to the web. Publish. Okay. Gives me that link. I click my extension, and now I can do whatever I want to it. So I want some vocabulary. How about? So I'm going to go to Quizlet. I'm going to search for The Story of an Hour. I'm going to, I mean, really, I'd look through and make sure that they were good, right? Got to sign in. Then you click More, Embed. Look at the embed codes. Copy Oh my gosh, guys, I have too many tabs. This is death by tab right now. I want the vocab right at the beginning, paste, and now my students have the vocabulary for their story right at the top of their story. That was from a PDF. So pretty cool. So I feel like I've gone over everything. We've been in here for a really long time. So
Maybe you'll have like a docent you want to share.
yeah, did anyone make one they want to share? Yeah. Oh, okay. You could email it to me if you wanted to. You don't have to. So you click on, go to your dashboard. Yep. Get the share code. And then I'm Karen at docenedu.com. Get rid of some of my tabs, maybe. One thing while you're doing that, one thing that we really want to emphasize too is like a lot of our features come from our users, right? They come from teachers. So we'll have people email us all the time with features that they want to have or that their students want or, you know, things, and we'll try to do that as quickly as we can. You know, we'll at least put it in our pipeline of things that we want. Like the live discussions came from one of my students. He was like, Karen, this should be a live discussion. I was like, okay. So then we did it. Well, also, if you're having any trouble, you can email us. We'll email you back. We can do Google Hangouts with you if need be. We'll make videos for you. On our YouTube channel, I get to my YouTube channel here. On our YouTube channel, we have tons and tons of videos about everything that you could want. We got playlists here, stuff about LMS integration, social studies, all this stuff about Google Docs, embed tools, 23 videos about embed tools, 14 ELA videos, science examples, getting started videos, how-to videos, blended lesson videos. So we have a lot of help there as well.
One of the new ones that I made was for a school. They were just like donated a Chromebook for everybody in the school, all the students and teachers. It was totally unexpected and they hadn't been doing like anything with technology. So there were all these teachers that had years of paper assignments and had not done anything really with computers. And they were like, how on earth like do I make the switch? So I made a video on how you can use some of the free scanner apps on your phone, like Scannable, and then just like scan your paper assignments, turn them into a PDF, it sends them right away into Google Drive, and then convert that to text. Yes, that second went over, and then, right, so that, like, it just converts over really nicely. So sort of like, within like 5 minutes, you can have your paper assignments, turn it into a docent, and like you're adding in videos, you're adding this kind of stuff.
I sent it to you through Twitter and stuff.
Oh, yes, it is. Oh, Twitter. Oh. Now I'm going to have to remember my password. Is it going to remember it? Yay! Oh, or did you send it to the docent?
No, I didn't do that one.
Uh-oh. Nope. I don't see it. Did you do the right Karen Hogan? My name's spelled really weird.
K-R-I-N.
Yep, H-O-G-E-N. I didn't get it. Well,
If you search Ty's hashtags, then let one last.
oh, you just put it with the Ty's hashtag. Okay. Okay. What's your name?
Heather 12.
Heather. Oh, there it is. Okay, so here's her share link, right? So I'm just going to click on her share link. Oh, such a good poem. Sorry, English teacher nerding, right? And so what I can do is I can look through this right now and see if I like her lesson, if I want to make a copy of it. So I can see that she put the translation here at the beginning. We got a class discussion. We got a question, multiple choice question, another discussion, multiple choice questions, super awesome stuff, a video with the soliloquy. This is a really long poem, everyone, if you haven't read this poem before. And then if I want it, all I have to do is click copy docent, and now it is mine like magic. And so now I can assign this to my students if I want to. And if I were to go to my dashboard now, there it is, down at the bottom of my dashboard. So we will get folders. And I keep telling the programmer I want it to be sort kind of like how the grades are, the grades you can filter like that, but I'd like the docents to be filtered like that as well. But it's date of making them. So that hasn't been a super big priority because there aren't a heck of a lot of power users like me and Matt that have so many, but it'll get to the point where it definitely needs to happen. Yeah, I hound the programmer for that, so yeah. So does anyone have any more questions or anything? Otherwise, I mean, there's nothing saying we have to stay as long as what the session was. Matt and I can just walk around and help people too, if you'd like some more help. Yeah, and don't forget too, people, up at the top of your dashboard to enter that code so that you get your free year. Because if you try to do that tomorrow, you will not be getting your free year. Oh, I forgot. At the end, there is a link here for example docents that you can copy. It's also just docentedu.com/examples. And there are all these examples of docents that you can copy right now if you would like to. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be using them in your classroom, but like to play around with them and see how they work, you can do that as well. So that's at the end of our presentation, or just docentedu.com/examples. So, and like we said, we can give you help if you ever need help. Just email us or tweet us or support@docentedu.com. Click on the dashboard there, like Matt said, and you can get help or on your toolbar. So I'm gonna stop our hangout and then I can help people. Yeah.
Download the extension.
Yep.
On one computer. Would they?
Thank you.
It wouldn't be
Thank
on
you.
another